Hi guys, in this video I just want to talk quickly about Saturn moving direct. So technically Saturn moves direct tomorrow, and sorry, I'm just moving the light here to give myself a bit more light. It's a bit dark in this corner. So we've had the Saturn retrograde period happening from 30th of April this year through to September 18th. During the Saturn in Capricorn retrograde, it was a time to look over our life in a very serious way, in a very practical and pragmatic way. And you know, Saturn in Capricorn, even though Saturn is and has been in its home sign of Capricorn, the energy has been quite sort of slow and very gradual. So you may have noticed this year that things are moving forward kind of very incrementally, very slowly. But the thing with Saturn in Capricorn is it's been important, especially during the retrograde, to go forward cautiously, to not sort of rush into things or be impulsive about serious decisions in your life that will affect, you know, the practical reality of your life and the structure of your life. So in the Saturn retrograde period, we may have gone over things to do with the past, to do with, you know, karma, very karmic issues, depending where Saturn has been transiting in your chart. So you would want to look at specifically the Saturn retrograde in your own chart, if you know it, and what house it was transiting through, to see what's been going on for you and what's been getting sort of dredged up or looked at more seriously. Now, with Saturn retrograde, we may have been feeling very much a heavy energy and a very serious energy, an energy of procrastination as well, and struggle to get things moving, struggle to get things done in the physical, you know, tangible realm. And you know, especially if you're someone that's got difficult transits with Saturn. So if you've got a lot of cardinal signs like Aries, Libra, Cancer, or Capricorn, you may have been feeling that the Saturn retrograde was in particular very heavy for you if it contacted any of your personal planets. But now, you know, with Saturn direct in Capricorn, we may start to feel a sense of our reality shifting forward now, that we can finally start to take the action that we've been wanting to take or that we've been thinking of taking. So for a lot of people, because Saturn in Capricorn, you know, relates to our ambitions, relates to dealing with authorities, dealing with the outside world, dealing with the real reality of our life, not so much our spiritual reality, but the practical reality of our life. With Saturn direct now, and Saturn will be direct from September 18th all the way through to May 11th, 2020. In this period, we're going to find that we're going to be able to move forward in a very real sense. And, you know, Saturn in Capricorn does ask us to take responsibility for what it is that we haven't been taking responsibility for. So, you know, Saturn in Capricorn is a very independent energy. It's a very hardworking energy. It's a focused energy. And it's an energy that relates to direction, life path direction, ambition, career, finances, you know, contracts, serious decisions in your life. So now that Saturn is direct, we'll find that there is a sense of forward momentum, that you can make decisions now for your life that are quite significant. And you might feel that things, or where you were blocked before, you are now feeling like, okay, I know what to do. And yes, I might have to push through a little bit of resistance in myself in some way, or get past that procrastination, but you will be able to do it now, and you'll be able to make those real changes to your physical life. So I'm just going to go through now the houses of the astrological chart, and, you know, have a look at your chart if you know it, see where Saturn is, and I'm just going to tell you what the influence is of each house. So if you've been having Saturn going through your first house, that is to do with your personal identity, your physical body, and your life path. So with Saturn going direct in the first house, it's a time to step up in terms of your personal power. You might want to start a business. You might want to start something new in your life that is very significant. It's about, as I said, taking that power, but using it for yourself and for your life, not to lord it over others, but to use it for your own self. You may feel a bit more controlling with Saturn in the first house, like you feel more self-controlled, or that you need to be more controlled, but it's more that you need to be cautious with your planning and have a sense of purpose and direction with it if Saturn's transiting through your first house. So there can be some new beginnings as well for you with Saturn transiting the first house and going direct. Saturn in the second house is about finances and about your self-worth and how you earn your money. So with Saturn going direct now in your second house, you may feel that okay, I can finally start saving money now that I've paid off, these other things. Or now I can finally get a handle on being very practical with my money and how I earn my money. And maybe even you might even receive a boost to your income if you've been working really hard and you've been putting the efforts in, because with Saturn, it always rewards us equally to the effort that we put in. It doesn't over reward like Jupiter sometimes does, but it will reward us equally to the efforts that we've put in. So also the second house is about self-worth. So with Saturn transiting direct through your second house, you may have been working through issues to do with your self-worth and your self-esteem. And now is the time that you'll be able to reap those benefits. So if you've been working on your physical body, doing exercise, doing certain things to improve your sense of your self-worth, and now is the time with Saturn direct that you will start to feel the momentum and the reward for that. Saturn through the third house. Third house relates to your local community, your siblings, your neighbors, extended relatives, sometimes children and friends as well. So with Saturn direct now, you may feel like you're getting on top of issues related to any of those areas that I've mentioned. You may feel a sense of progress now with your communications, because the third house is a communication house. You may feel that you can come more forward into your sense of authority with what you believe and your mental processes more so, and your ability to communicate will become much more solid, and people will have a sense that they can rely on your opinion because what you're speaking about has a resonance of truth to it from your experience, because Saturn in Capricorn is very much your experience as well. And in the third house, you may start to notice that people are really listening to you, and you may have some wisdom to share with others that you may want to put that out in writing, or you may be writing something, you may be publishing. That's more the ninth house, but it still can relate to the third house because it's about information exchange, basically. So you may be asked to do some public speaking, or someone may approach you on social media for your expertise if you have your own business, or if you're doing something work related that involves social media. You may have a sibling who needs your support, or you may be the sibling that supports another sibling, or a neighbor, or something along those lines, or even a friend. But there is progress, generally speaking, in regards to your communications with Saturn direct in the third house. Saturn direct in the fourth house is to do with home life, family matters, the home itself. So, Capricorn, with Saturn and Capricorn in the fourth, it can be about like actually renovating the home. And maybe, if you've been doing some kind of project in the home, it was stalled a little bit during the retrograde. Now you can actually move forward and see it come to completion or fruition if you've been doing something like that. If you've wanted to move, Saturn through the fourth house can see that you do have a home move happen. There can be culminations with regards to family members, elderly family members, because Saturn in Capricorn traditionally represents, the older family members like grandparents and older parents. But there can be beginnings and endings to do with family and home life with Saturn direct in the fourth house, but also progress in regards to home projects, home-based business, and things related to that. Saturn through the fifth house is interesting. It relates to your hobbies, things that you're passionate about, children, and love matters as well. So with Saturn direct in the fifth house, you may feel very ambitious about completing something that is a hobby. So going to the next level, if you're practicing something, having some kind of achievement happen in regards to a hobby. So maybe you complete a class and you want to go to the next level, or you're looking at how you can go to the next level with regards to a particular hobby or passion. You may be taking hobbies and passions quite seriously at this time with Saturn in the fifth house. You could be making a hobby into a business now with Saturn direct there, or wrapping something up from the past, completing an old hobby and starting a new one. Love life with Saturn there is quite serious. With Saturn direct in the fifth house, you may have endings and new beginnings in love matters, and there may be something to do with children if you have children, where you may have a child, or you may see a child, if you're older, grow up and go into their own phase of life that's to do with success or progress for themselves. Saturn in the sixth house can see you experience some kind of progress with regards to your health that may have come through a lot of your own efforts. So if you've been, say on a weight loss journey, or trying to improve your health in some way, your well-being, you might find that through a lot of work that you've been putting in, you finally start to see the results of that. There can be a change in regards to leaving behind an old way of maintaining your routine and your health, and starting something new that's more solid for you, that's going to help you to have more longevity, which is Saturn in Capricorn, and well-being and stability in your life. Saturn in the 6th house can be to do with work life as well. So there could be, if you've been putting a lot of hard work in and efforts into your working life, you may receive a reward or an acknowledgement from an authority figure like a boss, or you may receive a promotion or advancement or a pay rise. Saturn in the 7th house is also to do with authority figures and one-on-one connections. So it could do with a marriage partner, a boss, a supervisor at work, also contracts and legal matters. So for some people with Saturn direct now in the 7th house, it could be getting married or signing a contract or a completion of a relationship like a divorce, getting divorce papers signed and processed, legal matters culminating and you know, wrapping up, so that there's a sense of, okay, I'm finally, you know, deciding about something here to do with my relationships, and it's quite serious, you know. There can be something to do with legal matters as well for some people also. Endings and beginnings as well in regards to relationships, but you know, progress as well, because Saturn direct now. Saturn in the 8th house direct is going to be about feeling like you're getting out from under this feeling of being trapped, that you may have felt quite trapped with Saturn retrograde or quite stuck. Now Saturn's going direct, you're going to get on top of your shared money, your shared resources, your debts, your credit card payments, loan repayments. Issues related to that are going to start to feel like you've got a bit more momentum or power behind it, and it's going to be gradual, but there's definitely a need for you to focus on your personal empowerment through your work, your ambitions, your career, and how you can support, you know, your own life financially and feel empowered through that rather than feeling disempowered. So it's a big lesson of empowerment with Saturn and Capricorn through the 8th house, and taking charge of your finances in a very responsible way without being overly strict and overly inhibited, because it can be very inhibiting energy with Saturn in the 8th house. But there are lessons that you've been learning about how to be balanced with your personal power and your shared money, your finances, and you know, issues related to money and power and how it works together for you. Saturn direct in your 10th house is about achievements in career and to do with the public. Sorry, I forgot to say the 9th house. Let's go back a second. Saturn through the 9th house is about publishing and overseas connections, acknowledgement for things that you communicate, work that you put out there, and you know, it can be a teaching element as well. So you may feel that if you've been stuck in any of these matters to do with overseas connections, teaching, publishing, writing, communicating on a larger scale, this is now going to start to feel like you've got a bit more forward movement. If you've wanted to do a course or even create a course, you may find that energy starts to open up for you, where you can now put the efforts into doing that. Or if you've created a course, say, you might find that now it becomes successful. Or if you've been learning something to do with spirituality, you know, philosophy, psychology, or any of those areas, or legal type of information, you can now start to move forward with a new project related to any of those areas with Saturn direct. Also, Saturn direct in the 9th house is to do with really understanding your mental conditioning and perhaps moving into a more mature mental space for yourself, because it is the higher mind. So, you know, with Saturn in the 9th house, we're looking at our parental conditioning from when we were children and what we were taught that we should believe or think. But Saturn's, you know, retrograde was having us reevaluate, what do I really believe about life? What's really, you know, my truth, you know, rather than my parents' truth or my ancestors' truth, you know, what's actually mine, and working that out and moving forward with that now, and feeling like you know yourself better than you ever have before. So it's quite a powerful one too. And let's see, Saturn through the 10th house, as I said, it's about ambition, culmination in career, rewards from the public if you have put the work in, because as I said, with Saturn transits, you only receive the rewards based on how much effort you've actually put in. And, you know, with Saturn transiting your 10th, you may have been putting in efforts for a long time, or it's felt like a long time. It's felt like, you know, you've had to really persevere, but you will receive rewards with Saturn going through its home house, the 10th house, through recognition of dealing with the public through a business or through, you know, some kind of public work that's very real and has a tangible result for you financially and career-wise. So there can be a lot of career benefits with Saturn through the 10th house. There can be also marriage. It is the marriage sector. So for some people, you know, you may marry someone that you've known for many years and that maybe you've gone through a lot in that relationship, or you may end a long cycle, because, you know, Saturn is about long cycles. So you may also leave a marriage and feel that's a sense of relief for you. So it's very significant with Saturn in the 10th house, but it's going to be positive for you ultimately. Saturn going direct in the 11th house can see you move away from old friendship groups and finally sort of leave something behind there that is related to friends and groups where you need to progress. Also, the 11th house is wishes fulfilled. So if you've been working towards something that is your own thing that you've been very passionate about, or trying to find a new direction with regards to fulfilling a wish for yourself, for your life, Saturn through the 11th direct will see that you will be able to achieve something there if you've been putting in the efforts. As I said, it can be endings with friendship, but there can be new friendships coming in that are more authentic to you. Even friendships to do with work or joint projects where you work together and you find that you know, you maybe meet that one person, because Saturn in Capricorn in the 11th house can be just that one person that you have a very strong bond with, that you feel like, you know what, I don't need all these superficial connections. I've just got my one or two really good friends and I'm good with that. And it can feel sometimes a little bit lonely, but you'll be learning a lot from those specific connections. And then lastly, Saturn direct in the 12th house, a very difficult transit, Saturn through the 12th house. So if you've been having that, you've been dredging up a lot of stuff from the past. You've been trying to process things that are very difficult to process in your reality, things that are on the unseen level, on the subconscious mind level. You may have had to look at your spirituality and how practical it is. You may have had to look at all these things in the retrograde to do with your psychology and dealing with, you know, more subtle energy connections within your own mind and with other people within the collective. With Saturn direct now, and Saturn, you know, it's also authority figures. With the 12th house, it can be a bit tricky. So you can find that Saturn direct now, you had to deal, or you're dealing with now, the lessons that you learned when Saturn was retrograde through your 12th. So what you may have come to realize is that you have to do certain things in your practical reality to maintain a sense of balance and control over your life. Otherwise, you may feel like you don't have control. And it's not to overly control yourself or others, but it's just to be very practical about what it is that you personally need for your life to feel a sense of stability and not to feel lost in the, you know, in the melee, so to speak. So, you know, it can be a very hard-hitting transit, Saturn through the 12th house, where it's very confronting or it's very painful or difficult. But when you work out what your spiritual lessons are and what it is that you're meant to be doing that's very real for yourself and your reality, to stabilize your reality, that's when it becomes rewarding. So it's really about putting the efforts into your spiritual life and to find balance in that and make it real, not sort of just in your head and it doesn't apply to your reality. So having certain systems and structures in place for yourself to be effective in life is what you need when you've got Saturn direct through the 12th house. And you can also find spiritual rewards come to you through grace and through your own efforts as well. So that's all I wanted to say for this particular video. My next video that I'm going to do at some point soon will be about Jupiter transit through Capricorn. So Jupiter will be moving out of Sagittarius at the end of this year in December and moving into Capricorn. I'm going to talk about the general influence of that and Jupiter through the houses. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Bye for now.